Okay, guys. So I'll ask you a few questions.
I'll ask you a few questions. Okay. So, okay, what do you call a person you've never met before? Answer these few questions. Okay. I'll tell you why I'm asking these questions. Stranger. Okay. Aditya says stranger. Manmeet says stranger. Unfamiliar says Anoop. Okay, stranger. Okay, almost all of you say stranger. Yes, stranger is the right word. Okay, when you come across a person that you've never met before, you call that person a stranger. Okay, okay. One more question. What do you call a person you met a couple of times recently but hardly know anything about? What do you call a person you met a couple of times recently but hardly know anything about? Acquaintance. Divya says acquaintance. Okay, familiar person. Pratik. Okay. Kushal says acquaintance. Narendra says acquaintance. Rashmi says I don't know. Okay, that's all right. Okay, we call that person an acquaintance. Okay. All right. Okay, now one more question. What do you call a person very close to you and knows you in and out? Friend, exactly. Okay, so when we first come across a person we've never met before, that person comes across as a stranger. Okay, then we get to know him a little, and that he becomes an acquaintance. Okay, we remember him very vaguely, but we are not so close to him or her. Okay, then we get to know each other very well and interact with that person, and then that person becomes our friend. Okay, why I am telling you this is that the same concept applies to word learning as well. Okay, so when you come across a new word that you never come across before, you can call that word a stranger. Okay, then it so happens, right? Okay, let me ask you, what do you do when you come across a very new word that you've never come across? What do you actually do? If you come across a word that you've never heard or never seen before, what do you do? Niharika says look it up. Okay, open the dictionary, Google it. Okay, try to analyze and understand it.
Chandrika says skip it. I think that's what many of us will do. They skip it.
Okay, skip it, right? So I come upon. I don't feel that skipping would be the right option. What do you think?
Definitely not. I don't think so.
All right. Okay. Yes, definitely. We go and refer it in a dictionary, or we Google it. Somehow we try to find out the meaning, isn't it? Okay. Am I making sense, or do you think I'm saying something else? Yes, you are making sense, says Chandrika. All right. Okay. So when we come across a new word, it's a stranger. Then we look it up, and it becomes an acquaintance. Then we start using it in our daily conversation, and it becomes our friend. Okay. So there are 3 stages in word learning. Okay. If you're clear with these 3 stages, okay, word learning will become very, very easier. Okay. So what are the 3 stages, guys? What are the 3 stages in word learning? Stranger, acquaintance, and friend. All right. Okay. So I think you guys have got it. Got those 3 stages now. Okay. So we'll look at each of the stage of word learning very, very closely. Okay, and we'll analyze how to approach a word when it's in those individual stages. Okay. Now coming to the stranger stage. Okay, now guys, let's do one thing. I'll do one thing. I'll give you an example of a GRE word. Okay, and then I'll show you how to go through each stage and learn that particular word. Would that be fine? Yes. Okay. Examples are much better, aren't they? Yes, right. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, can you see on the screen? Can you see a word on the screen? Yes. Okay. So let's take the word expropriate. Okay. How many of you have come across the word expropriate before? How many of you have come across this word before? Udayan hasn't. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Aditya says never. I haven't, says Avinash. Tusharika says not yet. I haven't come across. Couple of times, says Rishabh. I think so, says Samragi. Right. Okay. So we'll. Okay. Some of you have come across this word before. Some of you know the meaning. Some of you don't. Okay. Just for the sake of example, let's assume that we have never come across this word before. Can we do that? Let's assume that we have never come across the word before. Yeah. So how to approach it? Okay. It's a total stranger word right now. So how to approach it? Okay. So the first thing you have to do is know its meaning. Okay, just like we we usually look it up in a dictionary, we have to find out its meaning. Meaning is to officially take away private property from its owners for public use. Okay, to take away private property for public use, that is called expropriation. Okay, the parts of speech here is verb. Okay, can anyone tell me why is it a verb? It's an action, correct. Manmeet says it's an action. Vamsi says it's an act of taking, right? Okay, so it's a parts of speech. We must have come across parts of speech in our in our 10th or 9th or 10th. Okay, so whenever the word describes an action, it's described as a verb. Okay, so verb describes an action. Okay, now look at the usage. The land was expropriated by the state. Okay, that's one usage. Legislation was introduced to expropriate land from the absentee landlords and redistribute it to peasants. The Bolsheviks expropriated the property of the landowners. That's another usage. Okay, just in case you are confused, Bolsheviks are Russian communists. Don't worry about that. Okay, so those are the three stages. Okay, when you first come across a word, first know its meaning. Okay, then its parts of speech. Then see how it is used in a sentence. Okay, is that clear till now? Is it clear till now? All right, that's great. Okay, I like the energy here. Kamakon, we've got a very participative audience here, and I'm really enjoying it right now. A lot of responses. All right. Okay, so shall we move forward? Okay, so what is the next stage? Stage 2. What is the next stage? Acquaintance. All right. We've got a set of bright students here who remember everything that I say. Okay, that's great. Okay, understanding is to see how, to research a little more on that particular word. Okay, we'll see how it is exactly used in a sentence. Okay, when you're reading a newspaper article, okay, you might see that used in an article. You see how it is used, what context it is being used. Okay, sometimes a word is used in various different contexts. Okay, so you have to identify all of those. Okay, so we'll see some few extracts from a newspaper article. Okay, by expropriating, we acquire personal property officially from its owners for a common purpose. For example, the act of acquiring the land for laying a road or building a dam is expropriation. So that is how that is how this word is defined, expropriate. Okay, that is how it is used. Okay, now guys, can you visualize this situation is something that you have seen in real? Has any of the land been expropriated in your area? Can you identify any such instance? Can you connect with it? Yes. Okay, so a lot of time it happens the government has to take land to build roads and dams or flyovers. Okay, so they take private property, okay, the private property, and then use it for public use. Okay, so so that is called expropriation. Okay, if you have come across any such instance in your area, or if you have seen something like that, visualize it. Visualize it. What exactly happened there? Okay. 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 So now, when you come across a word that you've never known before, okay, first is to make it an acquaintance. Okay. How do we do that? You find out the meaning. Okay, then you find out the parts of speech, then you see how it is used. Okay, then you are already a little clear about it. Okay, it's already become an acquaintance. Okay. Then you see how it is used, how it has been used in different contexts, what is the exact definition of it. Okay, now there is something called thematic classification of words. Okay, so how many of you know what is thematic classification of words? Yogesh says no idea. Don't know. Okay. Okay. Most of you are not aware of the thematic classification of words. Okay, I'll tell you. Don't worry, guys. I'll tell you. Okay. There are a lot of words in the GRE that you need to learn to improve your vocabulary. Okay, it's almost more than 3,500 words. Okay. So will it be feasible to learn all the words at once in a single go? No, not at all. I don't think so, unless you are a computer or something, right? Okay, so so it's always better to categorize or divide these words in a smaller word lists. Okay, say word lists of say 20 words, 10 words, or 30 words. Okay, you have to divide this whole word list into many smaller word lists. Okay, but we cannot do this randomly. So we have to group the words in a category that has similar meanings. Okay, take 5 words which have similar meanings and put them in one group. Okay, that is called thematic classification. Okay, now what it will do is it will help you identify one word with another. Okay, it will also help you to learn words in a much easier way. Okay, so which will be better, learning 100 words at once or learning 5 words with intervals? Which do you think will be much effective? Five words, because we have divided the words into smaller segments. Okay, and we are going through each segments. Okay, now since IPL is going on right now, I'll give you an example. How many of you watch IPL? I hope most of you do. Okay, so or say, how many of you watch cricket? Yes, most of you do. Okay, so whenever Team India has a target on their head, okay, they are very good at chasing, right? Especially Virat Kohli. Okay, he knows what is the target. Okay, he paces his innings very well. Okay, every 5 overs he knows how much to score, and then it's very easy for him to chase. Okay, that is not the case when we are batting first. Okay, we don't know what is the exact target that we have to achieve. Okay, so when you divide your word list in smaller categories or smaller groups, it is much easier for you to learn. Okay, all right. Okay, so one more thing that this technique will do is it will connect similar words. Okay, and you'll be able to identify the subtle difference between each of those words. Okay, now while solving the verbal section of the GRE, has it ever happened to you that all the options sound very similar? You don't know which is the right option. Has it happened to you? Yeah, a lot of times, always, many times. Chandrika says yes, it happens. Okay, Sahil says many times. Ramakrishna says many times. Right. Okay, it happens with most of us. Okay, this happens because of, because of a lack of vocabulary. Okay, if you have known enough, if you had known enough words, if you had known the subtle difference between all the words, wouldn't it be easier to answer that particular question? Yes, right. Okay, so that is how a theme based word list will help. Okay, it'll help you connect with similar words. Okay, I'll give you a much better example. I'll give you 3 words. Okay, gluttony, gobble, and hunger. Okay, how do you associate these words? Gluttony, gobble, and hunger. When you come across these 3 words, what do you identify? Lenti says food, correct. Okay, you associate these 3 words with food. Okay, so if you put these 3 words in a category called food, okay, will it be easier for you to connect all the 3 words? You know that these words are something that relate to food, right? So even if you don't know what is the exact meaning of gluttony, you'll at least know that this is something related to food, correct? Right. Okay, so that is theme based classification. And talking of which, GREedge has a theme based word list. I'll send you the link. I'll send every one of you the link. You can bookmark the link. Okay, don't move away from the seminar. You can bookmark it right now and visit it later. Okay, it will be very helpful for you. Okay, once the seminar is over, you can go and visit that link. Okay, there's a theme based word list from GREedge. I'll send you the link. Okay, all right. Because shall we move forward, guys? Okay, Deepesh, yes, your questions are definitely reaching me. Okay, but we have more than 400 students attending today's online seminar. Okay, so pardon me if some of your responses are missed, but I can assure you that I'll answer all of your questions. Okay, if not now, I will have a question and answer session at the end. I'll definitely answer all of your questions. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll move forward. Third stage, coming to the third stage. So what is the third stage, guys? Friend stage, correct. So we'll look at the friend stage now. Okay, so now what you've done is you've identified the meaning, you know the parts of speech, you know the usage, okay, and you've also seen its definition, what is the exact definition of it. You also know how to categorize it, that particular word in themes. Okay, now what? Okay, now what is left? The most important part is to use it while you're speaking or writing. Okay, the more you practice, the better it is. The more you use it in your daily conversation, the more you'll be able to remember it. If I ask you to recite numbers from 1 to 100, the numbers from 1 to 100, how many of you will be able to do that? Can you do that? Yes? Yes, almost every one of us. Okay, why is it that something we've studied 20 years before we still remember? Something we've studied almost 20 years before, why is it that we still remember it? Because of practice, because of daily usage, correct? Because of usage, says Yamuna, right? Okay, so since we use it every day again and again, it's just so happens that even if I wake you up at 4 in the morning, okay, you'll wake up from your sleep and say 1 to 100, right? Okay, so that is what is the power of practice. The more you practice, the more you'll be able to remember. Okay, so same is the case with GRE words. That the more you put in, the more you use these words in practice, the better it is. Okay, so again, I'll give a small intercept from a newspaper article. Okay, how it is used in a sentence. The word expropriation. The recent revision of government land value for property is a bliss for the people who are affected by expropriation of lands for widening the national highways. Now they will get a lump sum amount of compensation. Okay, so So do you see how it is used in a sentence, guys? Do you see how this word is used in a sentence? Yes. Okay. So now talking about usage, now I want all of you to form a sentence using the word expropriate. Can you do that? I'll give you exactly 10 seconds. You'll have to be very quick, guys. Can you form a sentence using the word expropriate? You have got 10 seconds. Okay, we already got some responses. The land was expropriated from my uncle. All right, that's a correct statement, Sahasra. Okay, I need to really work hard to expropriate better scores. Correct, Himanshu? Okay, I'm sorry, Himanshu. I think you can rephrase this in a much better way. Can you try again? The government expropriated land around airport for expansion. Pankaj, you are right. Okay, I've got almost 200 responses on my screen. Okay, the land was expropriated from the farmers at cheap rates. Correct, Prabjot? Right, most of you are correct. Okay, so you understood how this word is used in sentence? Clear with the concept? Right. Okay. So whenever you come across a word that you haven't heard of, or if you come across a very a stranger word, okay, this is the approach that you have to follow. Okay, you can directly start using it in a sentence, but that might not help you much. The most effective way is to follow these three stages that I've told you. Okay, that is your best bet in remembering for a longer period of time. Okay. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Now I have a question for you guys. I was expecting you guys to ask the question, but nobody has asked me till now, so I'm going to ask you. Okay, why is parts of speech important, guys? Why is parts of speech important? Can't we just do with the meaning and usage and then move on? Why is parts of speech important? A word can have a different meaning, says Aditya. Spot on, absolutely spot on. Can we have a huge round of applause for Aditya? Well done, Aditya. That was fantastic. Okay, we will know the position of the word, says Prakriti. Okay. It will help us to relate it to the meaning, says Deepthi. Right. Okay, so parts of speech is important because sometimes a word may have two different meanings. Okay, and they may have they can be used in two very different contexts. So until and unless you know the parts of speech of a word, it will be very difficult for you to use it in a sentence. Okay, understood, guys? Okay, I'll show you an example also. Don't worry. Okay, as we move forward, I'll show you an example of how exactly parts of speech is important. Okay, Sajindra, I'll show you an example. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Now guys, when you're answering questions, does it happen that all the four options sound very similar? Does it happen that all the four options sound very similar? Yes, correct. Okay, so why does it happen? Why does it happen? Can anyone tell me? Why does it happen that all the four options sound very similar? To confuse us, says Avinash. Lack of vocab, says Chandrika. Right. Okay. So all the four options sound very similar, and they have a very subtle difference between each of those words. Okay. So they give those words to confuse us. Okay, they want to see what is our level of vocabulary. Okay, so now what I've done is, since we've seen the word expropriate, I've taken a few more words. Okay, I've taken a few more words that sound very similar to the word expropriate, and I'll tell you what is the subtle difference between all those words. Okay, just moving forward. Right. Okay, so I've taken 4 words: misappropriate, appropriate, deprive, and divest. Okay, we'll look at each of these words in detail. Okay, now we've talked about expropriate. Expropriate is a verb. Okay, it means to officially take away private property from its owner for public use. Okay, so that is clear, right? I don't have to explain it again. Yes. Okay, so moving to the next word. Okay, appropriate. Appropriate, now, not looking at the screen, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the word appropriate? Ignore what is on the screen right now. Okay, Masoom says exact, Vamsi says correct, to the point, accurate, close, exact, relevant, suitable, right? Okay, so when I ask you what is the meaning of the word appropriate, the first question you should have asked me is what is the parts of speech, right? Okay, because the word appropriate has 2 different meanings. Okay, one is what you guys have told me right now. Most of you said that it means correct, or it means suitable, or it means relevant, it means similar. Okay, so that is when we use the word appropriate as an adjective. Okay, when we use the word appropriate as an adjective, that is absolutely the right answer. Okay, but there is another meaning of the word appropriate. Okay, appropriate means to take something or somebody's ideas, etc., for your own use, especially illegally or without permission. It happens between scientists. One scientist invents or discovers something, and the other scientist wants to take credit from him. Okay, and he takes away his idea or takes away his invention. So that is called appropriation. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of plagiarism, Yogesh. Yeah, well, it's kind of a plagiarism, but plagiarism is mostly mostly used when it's something related to text, something related to writing. Okay, appropriate can be used in a larger context. Right. Okay, so understood the difference between appropriate and expropriate? So shall we move on to the next word, guys? Okay, now moving on to the next word. Next word is misappropriate. Okay, so I think it's pretty easy. Misappropriate is pretty easy to comprehend. Okay, so the root word is appropriate. Okay, the root word is appropriate, and there is a prefix mis. Okay, so it's simple. Whenever there is a prefix mis, there is a trust element involved. Okay. Okay, whenever there is a prefix mis, there is a trust element involved. Okay, say misbehavior, root word is behave. Okay, prefix is mis. Okay, so that is when some not an appropriate behavior has happened to you. That is called misbehavior, right? So okay, so it means to take somebody else's money or property for yourself, especially when they have trusted you to take care of it. Okay, Masoom is asking me the parts of speech. Okay, Masoom, why don't you tell me, why don't you try what is the parts of speech? Let me see. What is the parts of speech of the word misappropriate? It's a verb, it's an action. Okay, yes, so most of you are right. Okay, so it's an action. Since it depicts an action, it's a verb. Okay, the word misappropriate is a verb. Okay, right. Okay, so that was a pretty easy word. Okay, shall we move on to the next word, guys? Okay, so the next word is deprive. Deprive means to prevent somebody from having or doing something, especially something important. For example, the court ruling deprived us of any share in the inheritance. The word deprive is clear, guys. To take something off. Yes, Nishtha? Yes, Aditya, Nikhil, Uday, all are saying yes in unison. Okay. Uday has an interesting analogy. Uday says in Hindi it's called dabocha hua. Okay, you can say that, but I think it's not the exact meaning, but yes. Vanchit karna, says Abhinav. Okay, let's not get into Hindi. Okay, we'll discuss about the word deprive. So that is pretty easy. Deprive means to prevent somebody from having or doing something. Let's say I was deprived of presenting today's online seminar. Okay, so that is how it's used. Is it a verb? Vishal is asking me, is it a verb? Yes, definitely it is a verb because it's describing an action. Okay, Manish is giving us the latest news. All right. Okay. So the next word is divest. Divest means to take something away from someone or something else. Example, he was divested of his title, power, or dignity. Now these two words sound very similar. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between these two words? Pragati, yes, definitely I'll give you an example, but first I'd like you guys to try it out. One is preventing, the other is taking away. That's absolutely right, Vamsi. Right, some of you are right, some of you have identified the right difference. Okay, so deprive is to stop somebody from doing something, and divest is to take something away. Okay, so that is one meaning, that is the actual literal meaning, difference between those two. Okay, another way to look at it is that when you use the word deprive, okay, when there is an action involved, okay, deprived of singing, deprived of driving, deprived of swimming, deprived of walking, deprived of running. Okay, so whenever there is an action involved, you use the word deprive. Whenever you are taking away something, whenever there is a noun involved, you use the word divest. Okay, he was divested of his power, he was divested of his dignity. Okay, he was divested of his post in the company. Okay, so that is how it's used. So now you understood the difference between these two words. Yes? Any doubts till now, guys?
Mani, I'm not sure about these guys, but I have
Yeah, go ahead,
very basic
Kamaga.
question. Yeah, go ahead, Kamaga. Why we have to learn so many words, 3,500 words? Especially these guys are trying to do the masters. Shouldn't they be tested on the subject knowledge rather than the words and general language?
Yes, Kamagon, that's a very good question. Guys, my colleague Kamagon had a very good question. He is asking me that why is it necessary to learn so many words, 3,500 words. How many of you have the same doubt? Why is it necessary to learn so many words? Okay.
How many of you actually feel bad that you're learning? If you actually feel bad that you're learning so many words, oh my God, it takes so much of time to learn all these words. How many of you feel bad in learning so many words?
Okay. Okay, I see a lot of you have lot of you guys have this doubt. A lot of you have are asking me this question. Okay, I'll tell you why. Okay, so when you go and pursue your MS, okay, you are you are supposed to be able to explain or communicate new concepts or new theories in as effective way as possible. Okay, you go and learn various concepts, you go and learn various theories and learnings. Okay, you are expected to communicate or explain or make people understand why is what exactly that you are working on or what exactly that you have understood. That is the sole reason why GRE verbal tests your tests your learning ability. Okay, verbal is not about English. It's called verbal reasoning because it asks you to reason a particular usage in a statement. Okay, why is this particular word used this way? Why it is not used in another way? If you can reason that, properly, if you can get answers of that particular why, then then you are good to go in verbal reasoning. Okay, that is the reason why most students, even if they have good reading habits from their childhood, okay, they are it's not necessary that they'll score good in verbal, and it's not necessary that if you haven't been a good reader, you won't be able to score well. Okay, so verbal reasoning is totally dependent on your reasoning skills. Okay, it's not much about the English language. Okay, so that is why these many words are you are expected to learn these many number of words.
Okay, Mani, so I'm having a question. How to practice words, basically that's a question most of them are asking. How to practice words, anything except sentence completion apart from it?
Okay, basically Kamakon, I tell students that the backbone of GRE verbal is word learning. Okay, whether it is sentence equivalence, whether it is text completion, or whether it is reading comprehension, the backbone of GRE verbal is word learning. The more words you know, the better you will be able to perform in all the three sections. Okay, in one way or the other, if you know more words, okay, that will help you in these individual units. Okay, in sentence equivalence, you have to know more synonyms. Again in text completion, you have to learn the usage. Okay, learn the usage of the words. In reading comprehension, you have to learn the various contexts, how it's used in sentence. So ultimately, it's all related. I hope I answered your question, Kamakon.
Definitely, more of Soham's question.
All right, Soham, I hope I've answered your question. Okay, so any doubts till now, guys? Aditya, Prabjit. Okay, we'll move forward, guys. We'll move forward. Okay, if I missed any of your doubts, we'll definitely answer at the end. Okay. All right. Okay, so now till now we've seen the three stages of word learning. Okay, the stranger stage, the acquaintance stage, and the friend stage. Okay, now I'm going to give you actual tips that will help you learn the words and enhance your memory, so that you are able to remember them for a longer period of time. Okay, so has it ever happened that you referred the words in a dictionary, you found out the meaning, and then in a few days later you again forget about it? Has it happened to you? Okay, every time says Yogesh. Avinash says yes. Amanpreet says always. Divya says sometimes. Okay. lot of time, says Rashmi. Khyati is already making a sad smiley. Alright, that's not necessary. Guys, I'll tell you how exactly to remember, how exactly to overcome this problem. Okay. So, so I'll give you some basic tips, okay, and then, I'll then we'll move on to one particular method of learning words. Okay, I'll tell you, I'll explain in detail. Okay, start enjoying the act of learning new words. Okay, that's the first and foremost thing. Okay, if you're not enjoying the act of learning, okay, it will seem as a burden for you, burden in learning. Okay, so if you enjoy it, you'll feel like it's something very easy, very fun to do it, and it'll definitely improve your learning capacity. They'll relate the words with pictures. Okay, so if there is a word and you have a picture with it, will it be helpful for you guys? If you have a word and you have a picture for it to explain it. Very helpful, says Prabjot. Yes, very, says Soham. Mnemonic, says Shravan. Think so, says Ankush. But what picture to give? Okay. Okay. Yes, definitely. Okay. If you have words with pictures, that definitely enhances your memory, because that is how the human brain works. Okay. If you have words with pictures, human brain has a capacity to store visuals instead of text. Okay. If you are given a picture, if you are given a visual, you are more likely to remember it than if you are given if you are given something written in text. Okay, that is how a human brain works naturally. Okay, so learning with pictures is much more important. Okay, then associate the words with words related to it. Just like I said, form a theme-based word list. I've already sent the link to all of you. Okay, if you guys have missed the link, then you can request it. I'll send you the link again. Okay, start using the words in your everyday life. Use in your email to your SFAs. Okay, so somebody is asking me, what is SFA? All right, okay, SFA is student facilitator and analyst. Okay, that they are the personal trainers at GREedge who help students in preparing for their GRE. Okay, all right. Revise the words regularly. Just like I said, the more you practice, the better it is. Okay. So these are the major useful tips that that you need to keep in mind. Okay, to to learn the words much more easily. Okay. Now, having said this, how many of you would like to see an actual picture-based word list? Okay. Right. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll take a few words. Okay, we'll see how we exactly study those words with a picture, along with a picture. Okay, shall we do that? We'll take a few examples. Really do. Okay, yes, I want to, says Shalim. Harpreet says really. Of course, says Nishtha. Okay, you guys seem very eager for a picture-based word list. Okay, definitely we'll discuss about it. Okay, the first word we'll take is desultory. Okay, how many of you have come across this word, desultory? Okay, Kamakon, can you please send the theme-based word list link to Mr. Balachandar?
Sure, Mani.
All right. Okay, so the word is desultory. Okay, the meaning of the word is going from one thing to another without a definite plan or purpose. Okay, going from one thing to another without a definite plan or purpose. Okay, so this is the word desultory. Can you see the picture on the screen, guys? Can you see the image on the screen? Yes, okay, so there's a baby sleeping. Dreams are always desultory. Okay, so the dreams are always desultory, aren't they? Okay, you see a lot of dreams while you're sleeping, but you You jump from one dream to another, you don't even know which dream is what, which one. Okay, so dreams are always desultory. The baby is dreaming, and the baby's dreams are desultory. The parts of speech here is an adjective. Can you tell me why it is an adjective? Why the word desultory is an adjective? Okay, Tripti is asking, how do we get pictures while practicing? That's a very good question, Tripti. I'll tell you at the end. It describes a noun. It describes the quality of a noun, correct? Raisa says it describes a quality, right? Akash says it describes a noun. It describes a quality. Deepti says, okay. Bhuvan says it's a quality. So most of you are right. Okay, so it describes the quality of a noun. That's why it's an adjective. Okay, usage. Many young people are so desultory that they are unable to fix their thought on a single plan or career. Now guys, very quickly, very quickly, I'd like all of you to form a sentence using the word desultory. Okay, can you do that? I'll give you exactly 10 seconds. Form a sentence using the word desultory. Exactly 10 seconds. 2 seconds are already over. I'm always in desultory in office. Okay, Aditya, I think you have to rephrase that sentence. Can make it much better. My life is a mess because of my desultory attitude, said Samragi. I hope your life becomes much better, Samragi, but that sentence is correct. A desultory discussion about today's newspaper. Okay, Saikiran, that usage is right, but you need to complete the sentence. I wrote a science fiction novel using my desultory dreams, imaginations and thoughts. That's correct, Uday. Students are desultory while they are planning to take higher studies and job, Malar Selvi. Correct, you're absolutely right. I become desultory when solving multiple problems. Correct. Poets have desultory imagination. Prabjot says correct, Prabjot. Right. Okay. So understood, guys. So if you come across the word desultory later, what is the first image that will come to your mind? Dreams, says Rashmi. Anshuman says dream picture, correct. So does it help, guys? Does a picture help while word learning? Yes, 100%, says Abhishek. Deepti says yes. Yes, really. Correct. Okay. So shall we move on to the next word? Very quickly. Okay, so the next word is crestfallen. Meaning sad and disappointed because you have failed and you did not expect to. Okay, sad and disappointed because you have failed and you did not expect to. Okay, so that is the meaning of the word crestfallen. So shall we look at the picture very quickly? Vamsi says he has heard it before. Right. Okay. So you guys see the picture. There's what seems to be Alistair Cook and Andrew Strauss after losing the Ashes series. All right. Okay, so there are two cricket players who have who are very disappointed. They work very hard, but they haven't achieved the result that they are looking for. Okay, so they are very disappointed, dejected. Okay, so the parts of speech here is again an adjective because it's telling the quality of a noun. Okay, so usage is after losing its last game, the team was crestfallen. Okay, so I don't even have to tell you. Very quickly form a sentence using the word crestfallen. Some of you have already started. I was crestfallen when I missed the gold medal. Correct. I was crestfallen after seeing my 12th marks. I am crestfallen about my results at Srishti. Okay, hopefully you guys won't be crestfallen after your GRE preparation. All right. I was crestfallen when I had a breakup with my GF, says Nikhil. I was crestfallen when India lost in 2007 Cricket World Cup. Okay, that's I think that this is a pretty easy word to to use it in a sentence. Okay, so shall we move on to the next word, guys? Exacerbate. Okay, I personally like this word very much. Okay, exacerbate. The next word is exacerbate. Okay, let's look at the meaning. Make an adverse or painful situation more so. Make an adverse or painful situation more so. Okay, guys, can you see the image on the screen? Can you see the image on screen, guys? Yes. So there's a car that has bumped into a tree. Okay, and there's a guy who looks very disappointed, and the other guy says, "Don't worry, it's just an old car." Okay, so the lady behind, she says, "Don't exacerbate the situation for him with comments like that." Basically rubbing it in, correct, Chandrika? That's one way to put it. Right, so parts of speech is an adjective. Okay, again it's an adjective because it's telling the quality of a noun. Okay, so again I'll very quickly I want to ask you guys to form a sentence using the word exacerbate. Worsen the situation, correct, Yamuna? That is the right meaning. My neighbors are often more interested to exacerbate the situation whenever they get an opportunity to do so. Soham, that's a very good statement, Soham. My manager exacerbates me by loading me with extra work, says Udayan. Udayan, you know, the exacerbate is rightly used when you use it with a situation. Okay, you cannot exacerbate a person. You can exacerbate a situation. You can exacerbate an ailment. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Right. Okay, so okay, my teacher was getting exacerbated when he was not able to answer back. Okay, Uday, again I tell the same thing. Exacerbating is with a situation and not a person. Okay, so I hope you guys have got how to how to approach the word learning here. Okay, have you guys understood how to learn words? Jale par namak chidakna, says Manish, correct? Sprinkling salt on the wounds, you can put it that way. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is basically how how if you learn this way, it will be much easier for you to learn words. Okay, and if you're learning with a picture, with a word, okay, your your memory will last longer. Okay, you'll be able to learn remember those words for a much longer period of time. Okay. Okay, now moving forward, GREedge has developed a very interesting application. I'd rather say a website, okay, which will help you learn all these words. Just like I said, Tripti asked me, where can I find these words with pictures? Okay, so I'm going to give you the link. I've already sent the link to you. Okay, there's this site called the WordBot. Okay, I've sent you the link. You can click on the link later and go and register in the site. Okay, where you'll see a word list with pictures. Okay, and you can learn and revise and test your GRE vocabulary. Okay, all you have to do is register there. Okay, now what it contains is this, what the word list what the WordBot application contains is, for every word that you come across, you'll have a definition, usage, synonyms, antonyms, pronunciation, and picture clues. Okay, so every word, just like we discussed, just like in the way that we discussed, in a sequence that we discussed, you'll have definition, usage, synonyms. Synonyms or antonyms are also very useful, very useful to identify the subtle difference between those words. Okay, then you'll also know how to pronounce those words. You'll have an audio pronunciation. Okay, then you will have picture clues. Most importantly, you will have pictures for each word. Okay, you can access it free at GRE.com/wordbot. Okay, so was that helpful, guys? So is that link helpful? Yes. Okay. Okay, so you can go through the website later. Okay, but you know, right now, you know, what I've told you all is theory. Okay, to put all this into application, I'm going to hand over the mic to Mr. Kamakon. He'll tell you how exactly you put all this in application. Okay.
Okay, guys, how was the session so far? You need not worry, I'm not leaving Mr. Money anywhere. He's going to sit right here, answer your question before he leaves. Don't worry, we'll have an extensive dot clearing session. Okay, Mr. Money, should I call him Mr. Money? I'll call him Money. Money has told you about, you know, extensive learning in word pronunciation, using word pronunciation, pictures, and usage of the word. Which do you think is more useful, using the picture or using the pronunciation or the usage? Pictures. Okay. Okay, most of you say using a picture. Okay, good. Okay, picture is one way of learning it, and most important thing, after you learn, what should you do? Practice it. Use them. Imagination. Practice it in daily words, yes, or more suitably in GRE style questions. Am I right? If I'm able to practice it in GRE style questions, would it be more useful? Definitely. Okay. Okay. Let me give you a brief idea. I don't want to drag it. I want you to have more questions with Mr. Money. Once you join GREedge, okay, we have certain programs which can help you on your not just your verbal part but your complete GRE preparation. Once you join the program, you'll be given an orientation call by a personal counselor. Depending upon your program, you'll get 2 personal counselors if you're joining for a complete GRE program or any other program. Okay, during the orientation call, your personal trainer will understand what is your weak area, what have you done so far, what are your preparation level is, and based on that, they'll give you an idea what you're planning to do. Okay, most importantly, how many of you are working professional? How many of you are working right now? Okay, quite a few of you. Okay, actually many of you. Okay, good. See, since you're working or since your project is going on or exam is going on, you don't figure out time to, you know, sit and prepare for GRE. At least, how many of you think like this? If I find time and if I sit for GRE, I think I'll do well, but I'm not able to find time. How many of you think about it? Okay. How many of you, even if I find time, I'm not able to focus at what to learn. Most of my time goes away in thinking what should I learn. How many of you face that problem? Okay. In order to help you out, what the trainers will do is, they'll once you take a verbal and quant diagnostic test, they'll understand the weak area, they'll formulate a study plan. Your personalized study plan will focus on the time you're going to spend, how much of time you have left for your exam, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to focus. So focus area will be on a weaker areas, and the structure will be on again on a weaker areas. Okay. Once they give a structurized personalized study plan, all you have to do is you have to start learning more. Okay. Once that is done, you'll have your learning sessions. While, for example, in a word list, you'll have all the word lists with pictures. You have around 50 word lists, and all the word lists in the all the words in the word list have pictures in them, which will help you to learn it. Most importantly, you have practice session. You'll have certain practice session which will have focus on the words which you just learned, and you'll have more of session-based and subject-based test. If it's, for example, algebra, for example, it's going to be TC or SC, you'll have separate practice tests based on it. After you take your practice test, most importantly, you'll have your feedback. You get a feedback from a personal counselor telling you where did you go wrong, what made you to make this mistake, and how to rectify it. Don't you think it will be helpful if you know exactly where you're making a mistake and how to improve it? Obviously, isn't it? So that's what our trainers do. You learn, you practice, our trainers will give you feedback. Just make sure you implement it in the next learning session or a practice section. So most importantly, next thing will be a doubt. How should I clear a doubt? It's basically online, man. How should I clear my doubts? What you do is, once you start learning, there's an option called Ask a Doubt. If you have any doubt for a particular question, you can just click on Ask a Doubt, and you'll be able to type in your question and send it directly to your trainer. Your trainer will be able to reply back as early as possible, maximum of 1 working day. But most importantly, there'll be an Insta Doubt option. For example, we have more than 16,000 students who have prepared with GREedge for a GRE preparation. If any of our students has raised any particular doubt regarding that particular question, it will be available. So when you click on Ask a Doubt on one particular question, you'll have a lot of questions which students have already asked, which are similar, which might be similar to the questions which you have in mind. If it's similar, you can just click on it and see the answers instantaneously. So your doubt gets cleared instantaneously. Next thing is a millisecond monitoring and personalized feedback, which I spoke about. Since we know exactly what you're doing every millisecond of your presence in the website, and the learning tracker will know exactly where you're spending your time, whether you're spending your time in reading the passage or you're spending your time in choosing the right option. Based on that, your trainer will give personalized feedback, which goes again to learning session, practice, learn, practice, and get a feedback. That's a formula. Okay. And once you're done with the learning session, you'll have revised GRE style test based on the program which you're going to join in, and after that you have full-length GRE style test. Apart from this, you will have, once you have a personalized feature, you'll have extensive study material. You have student welfare who can help you out in your any non-academic doubts, non-academic issues, admission-related doubts. You have a Facebook group which is only for endo students, where our discussions mostly about admissions and what are applying to do. And we have vocab apps, guest seminars, reminder alerts, progress report, and a quality bell. Okay, let me just give you a brief intro about quality bell. If you have any issues during any preparation, if you find slight of discomfort, you can raise a quality bell. It directly goes to a CEO. Okay.